The international break is over and we're back to Premier League action. Yesterday we're going to be predicting the scores for game week 4 of this 2024-2025 Premier League season. So let's just jump straight into it with a two-footed tackle and make our predictions.
Okay, so first up, midday on TNT, we've got one of the teams who haven't picked up a single point this season in Southampton, coming up against Manchester United. Man United, 2 losses on the bounce, one to Brighton, which they did not play well in that Liverpool game, less said about that. But Southampton, they're going to continue their winless run, unfortunately, at home. Man United, they're going to bounce back a little bit, so I'm going to go to 2-0 to the Red Devils.
2-0, you don't think they'll concede against the Southampton side, who have been peppering opposition nets with lots of shots, but they can't really put it back in at the back of the net. I think they're the lowest scorers in the division with just 1 goal, which will suit Manchester United. Currently, the Red Devils back-to-back defeats in 14th position, and this is the ideal opportunity for them to get back on track, and I think they will. Is Russell Martin ball down on the south coast? Apparently, in the press, etc., he's under a little bit of pressure. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 away victory to Manchester United. Next up, the first of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, we've got high-flying Brighton, who are currently in 3rd position, taking on newly promoted Ipswich Town. Ipswich have looked okay without blowing anything out the door, but they've only got the 1 point on the board so far.
Had a very hard start.
They
to the season,
have, haven't they? Because who have they back-to-back defeats against Liverpool, Manchester City, who looks like they're going to be in the top 4 come May, and they've also had Fulham at home, where they did pick up a creditable draw last time out. In this one though, Brighton at home, full of flair, full of pace, and I can only see one winner in this one. Ipswich conceded 7 goals in those 3 matches, so I'm going to go for a straightforward 3-0 victory to Brighton, because Brighton at the moment looking very good.
Yeah, for me, I can't really make a fair assessment of Ipswich just because of the start that they've had, but aside from that, Brighton are looking absolutely fantastic, so I'm just about going to back them, but it's going to be narrow 1-0. Moving on, Crystal Palace up against Leicester. Now, both teams have had a slow start to the season. Crystal Palace more unexpectedly than Leicester. I did expect this from Leicester a little bit. Where do I take it with this one? Palace getting a very good draw against Chelsea, where they did look pretty decent. And aside from that, Brentford one at the start of the season was disappointing, but they played well. I think they're going to cancel each other out 1-1.
Yeah, it could end up in a draw in this one. Crystal Palace in the last fixture, it was late, wasn't it, against Chelsea, Eze putting the ball in the back of the net, and he's been going close this season. So they've just got the 1 point on the board, but really should have had a few more points than that. As for Leicester, they're only narrowly losing these games. 2-1 against Fulham away at Craven Cottage, and a 2-1 home defeat against Aston Villa. So I think this will be a tight match. It's going to be another 2-1. But which way will it go? Well, I think it'll go in favour of the home side. So I'm going to go Crystal Palace Eagles beating the Foxes Leicester City 2-1. And talking about Fulham and Craven Cottage, then up next against London rivals West Ham. Now, this match last year finished in a 5-0 victory for Fulham. What a thumping that was against the Hammers. I don't think it'll be anything like that this season, even though Fulham have been okay. Currently mid-table, 12th position, a win, a draw and a loss. For West Ham, stuttering themselves, 2 defeats and a win. That win was against Crystal Palace. So also a London team, but they defeated against Villa and Manchester City, both tough cookies, but they were at home, so maybe they'll pick up more points away from home, and I think they will. I think they'll come away from Craven Cottage with a draw this one, and those new players are starting to bed in now. Yeah,
they're starting to bed in quite well actually at West Ham, and to be honest, I think they're going to walk away winners with this one. Really hard start, to be fair, so 3 points out of that is actually pretty decent.
Even after that smash last season against them.
Even after the smash last season, because I think that was a little bit of a fluke, to be honest. But Fulham, I'm liking what they're doing, but it's just going to be narrowly West Ham edge.
Harry Wilson's looking good, though. For Wales, you got the Wales top.
What a goal that was.
It was free kick, so maybe it works a magic for Fulham. Absolutely. If he can get in the starting lineup, though.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, moving on next, we've got Liverpool up against Nottingham Forest. Now, Liverpool on a slot looking absolutely fantastic. Forest, they've had a little decent start to the season as well, undefeated, beating Southampton. Mind, they've had a pretty simple run. Liverpool, going to do it at Anfield, aren't they? But it's not going to be that convincing. I'm going to go 2-0.
Not convincing. Yeah, I'm going to go exactly the same as you, Nathan. Liverpool, the only team in the division yet to concede. So they got a rock-solid defence before the season started. I thought they looked a little bit shaky at the back, but they're all playing well. Nottingham Forest, a very, very good start for them. Currently in 9th position, undefeated themselves. Quite a mean defence, only 2 conceded, one against Wolves and 1 against Bournemouth. So, they've had a fairly, not easy, but a gentle start to this Premier League campaign. But it's only one winner for me, which is going to be Liverpool with a 2-0 home victory. Next up, we've got Manchester City coming up against Brentford. Now, Man City always seems to have problems against Brentford. And Bueno, Wissa sort of taken on that mantle since Ivan Toney has gone to pastures new in Saudi Arabia. A lot of these players in both of these sides, a lot throughout the Premier League as well, been on international duty. I think it'll be tight, this one. Brentford always look good going forward, but I'm just going to give it to the citizens because they've got so much quality all over the park. Gundogan, I think he announced his retirement from international football, so he'll be nicely rested, coming back from Barcelona, of course. So, 2-1 for me to Man City. Yeah,
I'm going to actually edge it to Man City and remove that goal as well. I'm going to go 3-0 to the citizens.
Ooh, really?
I think it's going to be a convincing win, and I'm just not... I don't know what to make of Brentford, to be honest. They look good against Southampton, but Southampton didn't look good. Palace, they had the upper number and then got smashed by Liverpool, so I don't know, but I'm going to edge it to Man City here. Moving on to 5:30, Aston Villa against Everton. Everton, simply, they are a meme, conceding 10 goals in 3 games. Meanwhile, Aston Villa, they've had a pretty decent start as well, obviously, minus that loss against Arsenal where they just fell asleep at the back and just couldn't hit a barn door, so only going one way, 2-0 to Villa.
Yeah, Everton, with that defeat late on against Bournemouth, what was it, 3 goals in the last, whatever it was,
that's correct.
10-15 minutes or something, even later than that. So at least they've scored a couple of goals. It'll give Sean Dyche something to think about and mull over with the international break. Maybe he can tighten up that defence. It was very, very leaky, but they are going to Villa Park. Aston Villa, very, very strong squad, excellent going forward. There's only going to be one victor in this one for me, and I'm going to go for an Aston Villa 2-0 win. And talking about Bournemouth, the Cherries come up against Chelsea. It's a bit of a tricky one for Chelsea, bit of a banana skin. Cole Palmer should be back for this one. He wasn't included in the England squad. Had a bit of, I think it was a hip injury or back injury or something. It's going to be tight. They can call on lots of players, can't they, Chelsea? And I think they'll concede in this one because Bournemouth pretty decent at home, aren't they, historically and this season. So I'm going to go for 2-1 away win to Chelsea.
Interesting. I'm going to go exactly the same, but to be honest, with the way that Chelsea have started and all the problems that they've got off the pitch, what was the point of signing Jadon Sancho? That's just stupid. I could easily see this being a Bournemouth victory, especially at home, to be honest.
Well, with Jadon Sancho, Nathan, he's going to be raring to go, so especially he's taking over the mantle of Raheem Sterling. So I'm not sure.
I just don't
well, where's Raheem gone now?
Arsenal.
Of course he has. He'll be raring to go for the Gunners as well.
Yeah, speaking about the Gunners, 2 o'clock on Sunday, North London derby at Spurs. What do you make of this one? Arsenal, good start. Spurs, patchy. Arsenal are going to edge it. They're just in a little bit of a better position at the moment. I'm going to go 2-1.
They are. Now, I was thinking about this one earlier today, Nathan, and normally you'd say, Arsenal are going to take all 3 points in this one, but there's a number of factors. It's North London derby. Everyone's coming back from international break.
Yep.
And Arsenal have got lots of injuries. Odegaard out, Rice out. That's sort of the corner piece of their midfield. Calafiori, he looks to be out as well, and they've got Tommy Asso and a couple of other Thierry, I think, as well. Maybe Raheem Sterling will get a go in this one. Oh, Jesus, I believe he's out as well. The Spurs at home, they've sort of made an okayish start, currently in 10th position, a draw, a win, and a loss. And Arsenal will be looking back, getting back to winning ways after that draw at home against Brighton, where João Pedro sort of broke their hearts there. But difficult one, but I'm going to go for a draw in this one. I think it's too big a game for Spurs to, I don't think they'll want to lose it. Well, neither team. It's North London derby. I think it's going to end up 1-1. And the final fixture of game week 4 sees Wolves take on Newcastle. This is live on Sky on Sunday afternoon. Wolves currently find themselves in 18th position relegation zone. They did get their first points on the board away as Nottingham Forest last time out. And Newcastle, sort of topsy-turvy form, but they are in 5th position. They made quite a good start to the season. Very good home win against Tottenham, where I think a lot of that match was 1-1. But you know what? There's normally 1 or 2 real shocks in a Premier League weekend, and I think this could be one of them. And I think it's going to be tight, but I'm actually going to edge Wolves to get all 3 points in a 1-0 home win.
Interesting. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say Newcastle 2-0. I just think Wolves, with the way they started, defence is a little bit too leaky. I'm liking the way that Newcastle go forward, so 2-0.
So that concludes the predictions for game week 4. Nathan, last week, just a little bit of a recap. You did actually quite well. You came away with 13.5 points, 7 results out of the 10, which included 2 perfect scores. Myself only had 5 out of 10 results. I didn't get any perfect scores. But leading scorer for game week 3 with 16.5 points was Nelson A00. Nelson came away with 2 perfect scores as well. How that affects the overall leaderboard now, well, Joggett, old friend Joggett from last season, currently on 45.5 points, 4 points better off than Alex Cochrane, who's moved up 8 positions into 2nd position. So thanks for joining us once again. That was game week 4. Now game week 5 we're going to be recording before actually game week 4 commences, but so look out for that video coming next week. But for now, remember to leave your predictions at the Superbru website, link in the description and all that, and we'll see you all next time.
Something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain, but hitting bottom is the only way to change. So I'll keep hustling, you keep struggling. Bitch, I'm humbling, keep mumbling. I'll